All right, so as I mentioned, guys. Okay, as I mentioned, we are skipping chapter 9. Chapter 9 is about labor. With the limited amount of time that we have, I felt it was more important to talk about money and financial markets. So this is kind of a combination of 10 and 11. Not all of 10 we will be covering, but we'll pretty much cover all of 11. So FYI. Okay, so first thing we're starting with is the exchange system. There are lots of different ways that you could be able to acquire products, okay? Obviously, one of the ways you could acquire products we just kind of looked at with the barter system. So when you were trading your corn for your wood or the hides or the axes or the shoes or whatever, okay? The barter system is obviously this direct trade of goods and services without actually using money. And we've come a long way from it, but obviously there are still times where we still use it, okay? Can you think of it? Very true. They trade athletes, okay? So, and they will, they will barter between things now. So it's not completely gone, okay? But for the most part, people don't use it very much anymore.
In rural areas.
In rural areas, okay. This one, guys. This one says why money was invented. It says the guy's going up to this bar and he says, "Sorry, I've got nothing smaller." He's got a cow.
Do they use barter system?
Cow.
I already said it. No, I bet in some parts they do. It's true.
Okay, so money, guys. All right, let's get the iPads away. Really, that looks like you can. Okay, so money is anything that people will accept in exchange for goods and services. So when I say anything, I do mean anything. There has been lots of different things that have been used as money, not just paper items. Seeds. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There has been beads that have been used as money. There has been obviously gold that has been used as money. But even like something like, guys, even something like, for example, cocoa beans has been used as money. Tobacco has been used as money. Okay. Now,
What about slaves?
slaves. Well, yeah.
Or is that bartering?
More of a barter. I would think more of a barter, because it's.
Oh, no way.
Well, like, does it depend on the type of slave?
We're not getting into that. All right. For money to be successful, guys, for something to be successfully used as money, it has to serve three functions. First function, it has to be a medium of exchange. Okay? So something that is going to be accepted is going to be a way to get to goods and services. So it has to be accepted by people. So you cannot just go up to the store today and say, "Hey, I will give you these 3 glass beads for a turkey sandwich." And they're going to say, no. You have to have something that's actually accepted by everybody. Okay? Now, even that is the way this is concerned is that you also have problems with this sometimes with paper money. Okay? The value of the paper money may drop so much that people won't accept it. Okay? For example, most of Europe, what is their currency?
Euro.
The euro. Before the euro, a lot of different countries have their own individual currencies. For example, in Italy, what was their currency before the euro?
Pizza.
Before the euro, their currency was the lira. Okay? The lira was so devalued and it had such little value that it would cost thousands of lira just to go to the grocery store to buy basic groceries. Okay, and it got to the point in some places that they stopped accepting the lira, and they said, you know what? Don't want it. I know it's the national currency, but I don't want it. Give me something else. I don't want the lira. And so they would sometimes accept American dollars, sometimes they would accept British pounds, something that is more stable. So it has to be accepted. Okay? It also has to have a standard of value. So this determines the worth of items. So like I said, is that it has to have something that people can be able to compare and say, okay, I understand the value of the dollar. I can say that, you know, this shirt costs $15. These pants cost $25. I understand the difference. Okay? I can understand and compare items. Yes. Store of value. This is the idea that the value of the money actually holds its value over time. So if I go and take $1 and I bury it in the backyard, okay, am I still going to be able to use it in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? Now, there is the issue with, can you buy the same amount of stuff in 20 years with $1 that you could today? Now, there obviously is the issue of inflation, but the value holds for the most part is what we're talking about. Okay? So, medium of exchange, being able to exchange money for whatever goods and services that we want. Okay? Standard of value, we have to be able to measure and compare particular items. Okay? And store of value, if we go and put it in a piggy bank and we save it, we'll be able to spend it later. Okay? Now keep in mind, okay, that this whole store of value, during the Great Depression, people didn't trust banks for a very good reason. And so where did they put their money?
Under the mattress.
Under their mattress. A lot of them would actually go, and sometimes they would go and dig a hole and bury it in the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Sad part is sometimes they would either A, forget where they buried their money, or B, maybe they would move away or die or something before they could get their money. There have been stories where people have bought really old houses, and then like when they went to go and do some landscaping in the yard or something, they're digging around, they find this tin can, they open it up. Oh my gosh, there's like a big stack of money in here.
Some people still like remember using decades. I knew some of them real short things that like go and like search houses when people died.
Yeah.
They would find like frozen like diamonds in the back of the freezer.
Yeah.
For like money.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Happens. Okay. Types of money. And I forgot to animate one of these. Okay. Types of money. Guys. Okay, there are 3 types of money that we can talk about. First type of money is what we call commodity money. Commodity money is money that has value by itself because of whatever it's made of. I also know that you're also turning it back over. Okay, so money, commodity money, it has value based on what it's made of. So can you think of something that has value because of what it's made of? Gold. Okay, gold is an example of commodity money. Gold is one. Silver, obviously. I don't have a picture of silver. Rice. Rice has been used as money.
Salt.
You're right. Salt has also been used as money. Okay? Think about it from the standpoint of like the Middle Ages to preserve food. They used a lot of salt. Things were very salty. I've added to their very low life expectancy. But all of these things have value by themselves, okay, because they can be used by themselves. So as a result, these are all commodity money, okay? Now, the second type of money is what we call representative money. Representative money is paper money that is backed by something that gives it value, okay? So the paper money, it will be backed by something that gives it value. So Oftentimes, it would usually precious metals like gold and silver. So, example of this is my one picture that is not animated here. This is a $100,000 gold certificate. Okay, they used to print these, but they were not for like individuals because at the time, obviously there were very few people that actually had $100,000. These were actually used for bank transactions, and so when the bank was literally moving money from one bank to another, think about it when you go and pay somebody, okay? They didn't really have a whole lot of checking accounts at the time, okay? But when you went to go pay somebody, they would go and have to move their money from one bank to another, and sometimes it would be a lot of cash. And so to reduce the amount of actual physical bills that they moved, they actually printed these $100,000 notes. Okay? That is the highest bill that has ever been produced. So when you go on the internet and you see $1 million bill, it's fake.
How did they break that?
Again, it's bank transactions. And so it was, the bank would have.
What would happen if someone were to
Wait, so they
steal?
still have to have like all the physical cash in them?
Because they would still have,
What if you stole it and tried to go to the store and be like,
yeah, they would think that it was fake.
they'd be like,
Yeah.
dude.
These aren't printed anymore, guys. These aren't printed anymore. But the idea behind them is that I could go, and at one point in time, I could go and, for example, you could go and take the money, and it was a gold certificate or a silver certificate, and you could take the actual paper money and take it to the bank and say, you know what, I don't want this anymore. Give me the equivalent in gold or the equivalent in silver. Okay? What's the problem with that? They don't keep going to gold and silver, as well as the value fluctuates. The value of the gold or silver fluctuates. So when I go in and I give them a $100 gold certificate and I say, give me gold today, they may give me, 5 ounces, and next week I go and do the same thing and maybe they only give me 4 ounces. Okay? So the problem, guys, the problem with representative money is it's tied to something else that gives it value. And that something else, like for example gold, fluctuates in value itself. So it's dependent upon what the value of gold is, for example. So it's not the best way to do it. Okay? The last type of money is what we call fiat money. Fiat money is money that has value only because the government says it has value. No, not the cars. Okay? So, these are pieces of paper, okay, that have value because the government says it has value. So, which of these, commodity, representative, or fiat money, is the American dollar today?
Fiat.
Anybody have money on them, like a paper bill? Could be $1, $5. We got $1?
I got
$1. Okay. All right. If you look on a paper bill today, guys, if you look on a paper bill today, there's a lot of really interesting stuff, and I had more time I would show it to you. There is, first of all, guys, it says at the very top, it says the Federal Reserve note, okay? The Federal Reserve is the banking system that actually goes and keeps track of how much money is out there, okay? But it will also say on here, says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. That's just the government saying that this is worth something, right? It has absolutely no value otherwise, okay? The only reason that we use it is because the government says it has value and we believe them, okay? If we stop believing them, it would stop having value. Okay? So our currency, it says all money is a matter of trust. Okay? Fiat money is a matter of trust. It only has value because you believe it has value. Once people stop believing in it, it has less value.
Let's start the revolution.
Yeah. Okay? So keep in mind, okay? Keep in mind that this is only a piece of paper and it only represents something for you, okay? Because you believe it does. Does that make sense?